Welcome to another episode of SVB Live. My name is Kelly Wayne, and I am your host and Director of Sales here at Seniors Blue Book. I'm very excited today to have my guest, Theresa Stevens from the Hearing Center of Charlotte County. We are going to be chatting about hearing healthcare, and I want to make sure that all of you have your questions answered. But before we let Theresa talk to us about all things important in her business, I want to encourage you today to take a moment in the chat and let us know where you're watching from. And if you like what you hear, don't be afraid to give us a thumbs up. We like that as well. And of course, any questions you have, go ahead and type them and we will make sure we get you answers. So with that, Theresa, I'm going to turn it over to you. I want you to help our audience understand a little bit more about what you do, but more specifically, why is it so important that the folks out there consider having an annual hearing test? Because I imagine most do not.
Yeah, most do not. But first, let me just give you a little background of myself and the company of who I work for. Again, I'm Theresa Stevens. I am a licensed board certified hearing specialist. I've been in the field for 18 years, so trained in all aspects as far as hearing healthcare, recognized diseases and disorders of the ear. Most importantly, just also offering baseline hearing exams. So back to the question for you, most people do not recognize or pay attention to kind of their hearing like they do everything else. We're very good about our annual eye exams and checking our blood pressure annually, getting our teeth cleaned annually, and just those regular annual physicals. But if you ask that same health conscious person, when's the last time you actually had a hearing exam, and you get very confusing answers. Some when I was in the military, back when I was in school, that actually the Better Hearing Council recommends those starting at the age of 60 to have those annual hearing tests done and to keep those copies for your medical records annually.
Excellent. Now, most people are probably asking, does my insurance cover this? Or is there an out-of-pocket expense for getting an annual test?
Yep, and then another good question. Insurance, we actually don't even bill out for the insurance just to have that baseline routine exam. So it's actually a no cost out of pocket for the consumer.
Excellent. So I have to believe there's probably people who think that they're not ready for this yet. I know there's, they think they have to wait for something to happen where they may think there's a problem, but obviously what you're saying is let's start getting it looked at so that you have a baseline to go on. There've got to be some things that could be causing hearing loss, maybe even some that people aren't aware of. Do you happen to have some that could help us understand why it would be so important if there is some hearing loss?
Well, most importantly, like any health concern, and especially with a hearing, you want to always catch things in those early stages. But unfortunately, again, because we don't pay attention to our hearing like we do everything else, we have slow, gradual changes with our hearing, and it doesn't come with really any pain or discomfort. So we just kind of, rough it off to maybe somebody wasn't speaking as clearly, or turning the TV up a little bit louder, or, harder to hear in noisier situations. But some of those signs and symptoms are how our hearing can change, and that could be an indicator that we should get our hearing tested.
Okay. Now, are there some things that would cause hearing loss? Anything specific that might cause hearing loss as you age?
There's many causes actually. Just the aging process alone, we may develop hearing loss at some point in time. Noise exposure is the most common that we see with a lot of our veterans or factory workers. There's ototoxic medications that can change our hearing, can be passed down through the family. Trauma, falls, surgeries can change our hearing. So again, it's so important to have that routine baseline, especially when there's no problems. So then if something does change, you can have that reference point to look back to, and then do another comparison to when that hearing has changed. You've got something to look at.
Yeah, that's actually really important. I think getting the baseline is absolutely important. I know people sometimes think they talk about ringing in the ears, and is that something that's common? And if you do hear it, is there something specific that you need to do?
It's very common. We hear it from a lot of patients that just coming in for those routine exams. Sometimes people get it and it kind of comes and goes. Some people get it and it's there all the time. So it can be very different for each person. But that too can also be another indicator that something may have changed with their hearing, and to have a routine exam so that you can see at the different levels how they're hearing and at what decibel ranges. That become very important for us to make treatment options available for them.
Excellent. So that you're obviously very welcoming to people just coming in, get your baseline. You don't know what you don't know, right? I mean, it's always important to know you may be perfectly fine. And the good news is it's always good to just see where you're at, and make your hearing as much of a priority as everything else that you probably do. So all very, very good, good tips there. Thank you for sharing all of that. For those of you who follow Seniors Blue Book, I want to direct you to an advertisement in here that you can find on page 68. 68 is where Theresa's company is listed. So go ahead and grab that if you don't have it. Now, if you don't have a Seniors Blue Book, you can certainly go into a doctor's office, the library, your senior center, and even in Walgreens, they have them. So go grab a copy, turn to page 68, and you will find all of the contact information for Theresa, and give her a call because she obviously is certainly willing to work with you and educate you. And I think that's important. So thank you for the opportunity to, you're giving our viewers to stop in, and should they just call you by phone? Is that the best way, the next step for them?
Yeah, make an appointment if you can. The phone number, of course, is in the book as well. And we are, www.portcharlottehearingcenter.com can be located through that. You can book online as well. So an appointment is really the best way to, get that set up so we can do that testing for you.
And that's great that you offer that ability to schedule online. That's very convenient for all of you who are on the computer right now. So, well, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. And I'm glad that you were able to share such valuable information with our viewers. And I'm sure we'll be talking again, and you can bring us more valuable content in the future. So thank you so much today.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. You too.